I'm sure you've seen this all over Facebook. All those posts that say, vote now, or the emojicons that come up, or the emoticons, but we've got people voting on live video content, or perhaps you've got tag a friend, you've seen this, and there's competitions running like this all over Facebook. This is great news. Hi, my name is Krishna Day. I want to just bring you a piece of news from the Facebook newsroom today. You'll find it over at newsroom.fb.com. This is the 18th of December. And I have to tell you, this has made me really, really, really happy. So what you're seeing, if you're listening to this live audio, thank you so much to those of you who are here in real time, and also to anybody who's listening to this afterwards. Many of us have actually seen this happening. I've seen it particularly all over Facebook in terms of brand pages, particularly Irish brand pages. I'm seeing my newsfeed in terms of the kind of competitions they're running over Christmas time. And so what Facebook have announced is they've said in this announcement that they've heard from people that we dislike spam posts on Facebook and that get us to interact with likes, shares, comments, and so on. Now, if you're running competitions, you probably already know that in fact there are guidance as already in terms of page guidelines. You can find that easy by do a search on Google if you're not familiar with them. Facebook page guidelines about how you run competitions, but we still see them. And so thank you, Bridget, in terms of saying that you're happy that I'm sharing this. This has made me so happy today. So you've probably seen the articles that say, like this if you're X, and that kind of content is really considered as being engagement bait. And what's happening now, starting this week, that what Facebook is going to do is they're going to be demoting individual posts from people and pages. So this isn't just for pages, this is for us individually. So if we're doing that kind of bait to actually, like this if you're in this situation, share this with your friends if you're in XYZ situation. We see a lot of Facebook pages doing that, but this also applies to profiles. So they said to help foster more authentic engagement, teams at Facebook have reviewed and categorized hundreds of thousands of posts to inform a machine learning model. So this is going to be automatically generated that can detect different kinds of engagement bait, as they're describing it. Posts that show that as a tactic will be shown less in the newsfeed. So this is really important for those of you who've been disregarding, particularly on your Facebook pages, the guidelines in terms of from Facebook about how to run the competitions. Perhaps they've still been running, but from now, this is not an individual. This is going to be algorithmically determined. There'll be bots who are doing this, and they've already worked out what it's going to be from this week. In the forthcoming weeks, they're also going to be implementing stricter demotions for pages that systematically and repeatedly use engagement bait to artificially gain reach in the newsfeed. I've just read that out directly from the article from Facebook. They're saying they're going to roll out this page level demotion. So it's not just posts that are going to get demoted. Your page could get demoted if you're doing this. So page level demotion will come over the course of several weeks, and that will give publishers, if you've been doing this, it will give you time to adapt and inadvertently use this kind of engagement bait in your posts. So if you've got a Facebook page, if you're managing a Facebook page, it also applies for your profiles, but I'm particularly concerned about anybody who's doing this on their pages. Please take heed. Go over to newsroom.facebook.com. I'll put a comment in the comments, a link to that page. So they're giving us due warning. Now, if you are seeing people doing that in your organization, direct them to this content. So you're going to run the risk of not only your post being demoted in the newsfeed, but your page. And as I mentioned earlier on, really appreciate you being here. I've seen so many Facebook pages in Ireland in particular doing this. I've captured screenshots. I was going to write an article about it. I still might in terms of guiding people about this new update. And so, if this thing's, however, in this article it says that posts that ask people for help, advice or recommendations, such as somebody's gone missing, raising money for a cause, they are not going to be adversely impacted. So this has all been kind of managed by Facebook. It's been algorithmically determined. There's going to be something that's going to identify this. They're going to demote posts that go against the key newsfeed values, which is about authenticity as they describe it. I will also put a link to the newsfeed publisher guidelines in this post if you are not familiar with it. Thank you so much for tuning into this. I just saw this piece of news. I thought this was really important, just being announced here today on Facebook. So in particular, if you're just tuning in now, the key thing is that Facebook have announced as of today that from this week, they're going to be fighting engagement bait on Facebook. Examples would be where people will say, vote for this, or react, use an emoticon in this way, or they're doing things like where they're share baiting or tag baiting or comment baiting. I'm sure you've seen it. I hope that your page isn't doing that, particularly in terms of competitions. Facebook is saying they're going to be looking at this really carefully. It's actually going to be rolling out from this week. And also, so that's about posts will be demoted if they're going against those values. And in addition, they're also going to be monitoring pages so your page could get demoted. So it's got to be authentic content that gets people interacting with it. Of course, what we also know is that Facebook actually does want us to invest in terms of using advertising on our Facebook pages as well. But I have to say, those of us who've not been doing this kind of bait or clickbait, as you might describe it, in terms of if you haven't been doing this, I'm sure, like me, you're going to be very, very happy about this rolling out to those pages who've actually been doing things like this if, comment if you, tag somebody who, share this if. So they're all things to be watching out for. I will put a link to the article that's come out from the Facebook newsroom. In the meantime, if you want to find it yourself, go to newsroom.fb.com. And secondly, I also put a link to the publisher feed guidelines, which also, if you're not familiar with it and you're managing a page or monitoring a page, please just take note of it. You're very welcome, Lisa. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Jan, for listening. Thanks, Brigitte, and thanks to anybody else who's listened to this, I should say. What you're seeing here are some examples of what Facebook is asking us not to do. I just really encourage you to tell your colleagues and also make sure that anybody who's managing your pages for your organization is aware of this. Time to take a look at those competitions you've been running for Christmas in particular, and generally in terms of look at your content and how you're managing it. Thanks so much for the likes. If you find this helpful, please feel free to share it. My name's Krishna Day. You'll find me online at krishna.me. I wasn't planning to do any live audio or video this week. I had my weekly show as of yesterday, but I thought this was just such important news that I wanted to share with you. The other thing I just want to mention as well, in terms of if you haven't seen my Facebook page today, I also announced about Stage 10. I did this several hours ago. Stage 10 is a live stream platform. I've been talking to them for about a year or so, giving them some insights about what broadcasters will be looking for. And so it's a new live stream platform that allows you to stream to YouTube, to Twitch, to Facebook. There's also got RTMP. You're going to be able to stream very quickly in the next day or so over to Periscope. And so it's an interesting model for those of you who are looking for free solutions. It might be one to have a look at. So have a look at Stage 10. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Abby, for tuning in. If you missed this, it's an important announcement about Facebook newsfeed guidelines. Good news for you guys, because I know, Abby, you do a lot of work on Facebook and you're not doing clickbaiting content. And what Facebook has announced today is they're going to be, from this week, actually downgrading posts in the newsfeed who are using this kind of content, such as, vote for this if, use this reaction in this way, share in this way, tag in this way. You know those pages who are doing that. And so those of you who are putting authentic content out there and good content will not be penalised. They're going to not only penalise posts, they're actually going to downgrade pages and obviously carry on doing what you're doing in terms of you putting advertising spend behind it as well. I hope this is of help to those of you who are actually managing a Facebook page. I'm going to tune out now. I'm going to make sure that I post those links as I promised to actually give you more resources. Thanks again for tuning in. My name's Krishna Day, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. And as I said, really important update and good news, I think, for most of us.